I am feeling ambitious today, so let's predict the 2025-2026 Championship season. Hello guys, and welcome back to yet another video. Yes, you heard me right, I'm predicting next season before this season has even finished. I know, I'm crazy. Now guys, before you get at me in the comments saying, oh, what a stupid idea, what's the point in doing this? Well, it's a bit of fun. If you feel that way, you don't have to watch the video, but if you think this is a cool video idea, get involved. In fact, if you're feeling brave, give me your predictions for next season for who you think will be in the league and where you think they will finish. Let's go for some support on this video. Let's go for 3,000 likes, seeing as it is a brazen, bold predictions video. Hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to subscribe as well. It takes 2 seconds to subscribe and we're getting towards 95k, so get involved. So, like I say, we are predicting next season and we are recording this in March 2025. So there's going to be two parts to this video. One is going to be predicting next season, but before that we need to work out who's going to be in the EFL Championship next season. So then let's start with the Premier League, and obviously 3 teams get relegated. Which 3 teams will it be? It does look quite obvious right now which 3 it will be, but let's talk about this. I'm going to highlight 5 teams. Yes, I have highlighted Manchester City. Let's talk about these teams first of all. Southampton, I think you will struggle to find odds on them to be relegated anywhere because they are so nailed on to be relegated. In fact, they could set a record low points total this season for the Premier League. And you've got Ipswich and Leicester who are really struggling. They could, in theory, catch Wolves, but it doesn't look likely at the moment. Momentum is with Wolves. Manchester City are the other team I have highlighted because of a possible points deduction. Now, don't pin your hopes on this, but it is possible Manchester City could get punished for their 115 charges and get a 50-point deduction or something and get thrown into the bottom 3. You will find that Wolves are 12-1 to be relegated. Manchester City are the next most likely team with 14-1 odds to be relegated. After that, the next most likely is Everton at 100-1. Sorry to be predictable, guys. I will go with Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton to be my bottom 3. But can you imagine Manchester City in the Championship, guys? Let's move on to League One. You've got Birmingham City, Wrexham, Wycombe, Charlton, Stockport, Huddersfield, and to be honest, the playoff race does go down to nearly halfway, so let's highlight the teams that are involved. I will draw a little cut-off line there between Leyton Orient and Blackpool. I know it's possible Blackpool could do it, but it is quite unlikely. I did a video yesterday where I gave my final League One predictions and I said Birmingham and Wrexham will finish top 2. So, to make it up to the Wycombe fans, I will have them to win the playoffs. But honestly, once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. I think Charlton are a hot pick. Wouldn't be surprised if Stockport or Huddersfield won the playoffs either. I have a suspicion that Stockport, Charlton and maybe Huddersfield could be jostling it out for the top 2 in League One next season. So I will go with Birmingham, Wrexham and Wycombe to be the 3 teams coming up to the Championship. Next then, let's move on to the Championship and who will leave via promotion and who will leave via relegation. Well, look at the teams that I think are involved. Quite a few. Now, yes, in theory, Blackburn, Watford, Millwall, Wednesday, they could still make the playoffs, but I have drawn some cut-off lines here just to be realistic. By the way, I love the Championship. Look how many teams are involved in the promotion and relegation scraps. Now, I did do my final Championship table predictions the other day, where I've gone with Plymouth, Luton and Oxford to be relegated. I've got Leeds and Sheffield United to get top 2, and to make it up to the Burnley fans, I will say that they win the playoffs, guys. I do think Burnley's style of football could navigate them through the playoffs if they finish there. So they are my 3 teams going up and going down. Obviously, as a Coventry fan, I would rather Coventry go up, but I am trying to not be too biased. I do think Scott Parker might win the Championship playoffs again. I hope I'm wrong though. So then, that does mean that these are the teams I have got in the Championship next season. I've tried to be as realistic as I can with which teams I think will be in the Championship next season. I know I could have had Man City going down and Leeds not getting promoted and maybe even Leyton Orient to win the League One playoffs and get promoted, but this is what I'm going with. Let's have some fun. Feel free to share your predictions as we go along. And who's going to be up at the top? Well, it might not come as a massive surprise. I am going to stick Leicester City, Southampton and Ipswich Town up at the top. Now, first of all, Leicester City, we need to talk about them. A lot of people are making noise about a possible points deduction coming Leicester City's way next season. It could happen. It could happen. And if it does happen, we will talk about it when we get to that. If it's a big points deduction, who knows where they will finish. If it's a small one, like Sheffield United got this season, I still think they'll be up at the top. And also, there's the possibility that they don't get a points deduction, in which case I think they will be right at the top. We are seeing the same thing getting repeated year on year in the Championship. The three teams that come down with parachute payments do bully their way up back towards the Premier League. So I'm going with Leicester, maybe Ipswich in front of Southampton. With Ipswich, I think it's really important they hold on to McKenna, but we have seen them signing lots of good players for the Championship, basically a Championship super team. I mean, their second team in the FA Cup dispatched of Coventry quite easily, so I think they've got the players to do it, and the same should be said for Southampton. Is it possible any of these three teams could do a Luton? I don't think so. I think Luton Town might be a rare example of a team, well, a club, not putting lots of money into the team. It's more about building their new stadium. That said, Luton have massively underperformed still. So then, sorry to be boring, that is probably my top three, but who will join them in the playoff race? Well, I think if Sunderland don't go up this year, they will be up there again next year. And what makes me say that? Well, obviously they're a big club, so they should be pushing in that direction, but you look at what they've been building, they've got plenty of good young players, and if they hang on to them, they're only going to get better, or they will sell them and make tidy profits. I think Sunderland are going to be pushing for the Premier League again next season. And I also think I'm going to put Coventry City in there again. If we don't do it this year, I think we'll be pushing again next year. One thing that would be crucial if Coventry don't go up this year is getting off to a better start in the Championship next year. And maybe with Frank Lampard, that is possible. We do need to hang on to him though. I'm sure there'll be a few clubs sniffing in the summer, but I've got Coventry to be up there again. And then it's difficult. There could be a real surprise package team sneak into the playoffs. I'm going to say, do you know what? I'm going to go with Bristol City, and then I'll put West Brom 7th. Because in my final Championship table predictions for this season that I did a couple days ago, I put West Brom 6th and Bristol City 7th. So to be fair, let's say next season Bristol City make the playoffs and West Brom just miss out. I know it's silly, it doesn't necessarily work like that, but I think Bristol City are building something. I like Manning, they've got good players. Maybe they can just sneak in there next season if they don't do it this season. And West Brom, I'm sure they'll be in the playoff picture again. I think in the entire history of the Championship, since it's been called the Championship, West Brom have never finished any lower than 10th. So we've got to have them right up there. Obviously, Tony Mowbray, will he be there next season? I think so. They won't have Adam Armstrong though, will they? He'll probably go back to Southampton, so need to replace him. But of course, they've got Josh Madger. Who else is going to be in the playoff race? I think you've got to say Norwich, but there is a difficulty looking at Norwich right now. Will they lose Sargent and Signs in the summer? I would be surprised if they hang on to both of them, is what I will say. Norwich fans, do share your thoughts, but I certainly think you'll be pushing for the playoffs again. Middlesbrough, they've got to be up there. Will they have Michael Carrick next season? It does feel like if Middlesbrough miss out on the playoffs this season, then there will be some pressure on Michael Carrick to go. I don't know. I think some of the Middlesbrough fans are a bit divided on this, so I'm interested to get your thoughts. But if they don't make the playoffs this season, will he be there next season? I'm not totally sure, but they'll still be in the playoff race. Let's go for a big one, a bold one. In the top 10, Birmingham City. I do think Birmingham City will come back a lot stronger this time in the Championship. We saw them decaying and slowly eroding in the Championship over the last 5 or 10 years, and then they went down. But now look at them. Obviously, they went down. They brought in Wayne Rooney. That whole season was a car crash. Incredibly unlucky to go down with, 50 points or 49 points or something. But the owners have learnt from the Wayne Rooney situation, and there is money being pumped into Birmingham City. I think they're going to get 106 points in League One this season, and maybe they can push for top 10 in the Championship next season. Let me know your thoughts on that. Who else will be up there? I will go with Sheffield Wednesday. I think Sheffield Wednesday is a difficult one. I've got a few push and pull factors with Wednesday, which make predictions really difficult. The size of club is huge. Fan base, huge. The passion at that fan base and the potential for it to go through the roof. As well as that, good players and a very good manager in Danny Röhl. However, Chansiri is holding them back. Ticket prices at Sheffield Wednesday, don't get me started on that. But what I'm saying is, will Danny Röhl be off to Southampton in the summer? There's always lots of speculation about that, and that's why I'm just a little bit unsure. But I do think they'll be top half. Let me know your thoughts, Sheffield Wednesday fans. Who else is going to go in my top half? I will go with Millwall. I think Millwall are going to get a top half finish this season and maybe next season. Definitely look like a solid team that could sniff around the playoffs. Alex Neil, experienced at this level. They just need to get off to a better start next season, don't they? Look, it might not come as a massive surprise putting Millwall in the middle of the table, but I will just have them in the top half. I like what I've seen lately. I think they might just sneak in there. And let me know your thoughts, guys. Is this going to be a harder championship next season? It looks quite tough, doesn't it? Let's move on to middle-ish. Obviously, it's sort of bottom half, but it's sort of middle of the table. I don't think these teams are going down. Let's start with QPR. Difficult with QPR. If you look at them this season, incredibly streaky. They're either really bad or really good, and there's no in-between. I do like Marti Cifuentes, though. If you put good and bad form together, you probably land in the middle, but they'll be hoping for better consistency next season. Might not come as a massive surprise. I'll also go with Preston to be mid-table again. That's where they belong, isn't it? Preston North End. I don't mean that in a horrible way, by the way. I do like Preston. But I'm glad Coventry beat them this season, is what I will say. Right now, they are heading into an FA Cup quarter-final this season. Maybe they'll be playing European football next season if they win the FA Cup. Preston fans can dare to dream. Let's talk about the next team. Let's go with Portsmouth. I think if they survive this year, which I think they will, we might see another step forwards for Portsmouth next season. Good club. Good manager, I do like John Mousinho, very passionate fan base that could make a difference, and they are building, aren't they? In fact, they remind me of Coventry City when we came up to the Championship 5 years ago. Season on season progression, and I would not be surprised to see Portsmouth in a possible playoff race within a couple of years. So, if you can make Fratton Park a fortress again, you'll do very well. Who else is going in the middle? Let's do it. Let's talk about Wrexham. I'm going to have them in the middle. I think this is an interesting one. Do Wrexham get promoted this season? I think they do. I think they come up to the Championship. That's 3 promotions on the bounce. Could they do 4? I won't say no, because Wrexham do keep proving a lot of people wrong. But this is the Championship, man. This is very, very hard. This is where money really comes into play. Premier League is a different stratosphere, different atmosphere, but the Championship is, the money trickles down into the Championship. But I think Wrexham would give this a go. Phil Parkinson is a very experienced EFL manager. They've got a very passionate fan base, a global fan base, of course, now with the documentary and all the success with that. They have got a good team and a real togetherness there, and let's not forget, guys, for those people that might want to underestimate Wrexham, we've seen Wrexham giving Championship and Premier League teams some good games in the FA Cup. I think they can raise their game. I really do. They will need, some investment in the summer, but I think they could stay up, and they're only going in one direction. Whether you like them or not, because I know there's some people that love them and some people that don't, I think they are only going in one direction. I will have them in the middle. Let me know your thoughts. That does mean, by the way, I've got Wrexham as the highest placed Welsh team next season. Wow. Okay, let's keep going. Who are we going to have next? Let's go with Hull City. I think if Hull stay up this season, which I think they will improve somewhat next season. Would not be surprised to see Hull City in the top half next season. If you give Ruben Sellers the backing in the summer, I think he's proving his worth at this level. They've picked up some very good results. They do need to address the home form, but maybe that will be a thing of the past before you know it. I think Hull could push on. I'll have them in the middle. Let me know your thoughts, Tigers fans. And then I will go with Watford. Now, this is difficult, but I will go with Watford. It is a little step backwards on this season, but I'm maybe just putting that down to the fact that I think the Championship might be stronger next season, and has Tom Cleverley overperformed this season? I don't like saying that sort of thing because people think I think little of them. Oh, they've surprised me, but that's about it. No, they've been great. They really have been great. I just look at them and think parachute payment money ran out. Year-on-year decline, possibly, although this year has been a step forwards. It's difficult to read. When I say year-on-year decline, I'm talking about possibly off the pitch. I also think it's not that Watford might go backwards. They could be stagnant, but will teams below them go forwards? You know, we could see Birmingham and Wrexham making this a very tough mid-table in the Championship next season. But I think Watford will be okay. I'll have them in the middle. And then that does mean down at the bottom, I've got a few surprising teams. Let's put Blackburn there. I don't think Blackburn go down, but I'm a little bit unsure about them going into next season. This season, they've lost John Eustace, and that doesn't scream, you know, stability off the pitch, by the way. I don't like the background noise at Blackburn, so I do have sympathy for the Blackburn fans. Ismail has come in. We will allow him time, but it's early days and it's not great. So I think we could see a step backwards next season, possibly. Swansea, I will say the same sort of thing. I don't think they're going down, but not going in the right direction, and we could see them surpassed by other teams. I will have them just ahead of Cardiff, though, who I am a little bit more worried about, if I'm being honest. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll go with Derby, with John Eustace. I mean, it's not great, but if they survive this year and survive next year, it's better than going down. But in terms of size of club, Derby certainly could be pushing towards mid-table and possibly top half again. Let's go with Stoke next. I don't know about Stoke. I think they might survive this year, but could they be in a similar position next year? Maybe. What I do know is Mark Robins is a good long-term manager. If you give him time and some backing, hopefully he will drag Stoke away from danger. My concern is Stoke are one of those clubs that when the parachute payment money dried up, they've just gone slowly backwards, and this isn't a good news story, is it, at Stoke? I don't know. Am I being too dramatic? I'll let the Stoke fans give me their thoughts. Then Cardiff, once again, similar to Stoke. Could it be that these two just about survive, but they're right in danger next year? Maybe. Cardiff fans do enlighten me. I wonder if we might see a different manager there this time next season. And then Wycombe. Now, I have gone with Wycombe Wanderers to get up this season and be promoted. I would love to see them survive as well, but this looks tough, doesn't it? It's quite hard to pick 3 teams to get relegated next season. I mean, the main reason is because we don't know who's going to be in the Championship next season, but you can ignore that. It's going to be difficult. Let's say they get up, but I think Wycombe fans will know it's all about just getting over the line. They've been great this season. Obviously, Bloomfield did a great job. Jumped ship and went to Luton, which might look quite strange if Wycombe do go up and Luton do go down. Dodds has come in. He's been good. And they haven't got as small a budget as some people might believe. They have got new owners, but it's a difficult one. I don't want to belittle them, but club size can come into this somewhat. Obviously, they finished bottom last time in the Championship. They were here. Let's see if they survive this time. We will see. But that is my prediction, guys. A very early prediction for next season. It could be complete waffle, knowing that some of these teams might not be in the Championship and some teams might still be in the Championship that I've said that won't be. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to be brave enough to give me your predictions down in the comments. Do be sure to drop a like. Like I said, let's go for 3,000. Big video. Let's go for some support. Make sure to subscribe as well. And a massive thank you if you already have. Get involved. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. Peace out.